If it's Friday, it's time for Smash. Welcome, race fans. I'm Joshua Copperdoll, joined by Sean Signori and Cam Gillens here in the Slingshot TV booth. And tonight, we're bringing you race number 1 of the Smash HQ Truck Series live from the beaches of Daytona, Florida. Daytona International Speedway sits in the heart of Florida, just a few miles from the beaches where stock car racing was born. Since it opened in 1959, it's been one of the most iconic venues in motorsports, a place where champions are crowned, and the history of NASCAR has been written lap after lap. The track was so ambitious in scale, the engineers actually had to account for the curvature of the earth when they designed it. That famous 31-degree banking was carved from dirt dug out to form Lake Lloyd, which still shimmers right in the center of the infield. Most fans think of Daytona for the Daytona 500, but the very first race here was a 100-mile sports car event in April 1959. An 18-year-old Mario Andretti was even in the field, taking some of his first laps towards a legendary career. Later that year, Lee Petty won the inaugural Daytona 500, kicking off a tradition that would shape NASCAR's entire legacy. Through the years, this track has hosted some of the sport's greatest rivalries, from Richard Petty and David Pearson to the wild 1979 Daytona 500 that pitted Petty against Cale Yarborough and brought NASCAR into the national spotlight on live television. And just to give you an idea of how massive this place is, you could fit Churchill Downs, Yankee Stadium, the White House, and even the Roman Coliseum inside Daytona's infield all at once and still have room to spare. Sean, that's a lot of real estate for these drivers to navigate tonight, and plenty of room for trouble. What are these truck drivers going to have to do to make it to the end of the 60 laps up front?
Well, they got to play it smart in the draft, and they have to avoid the big wreck. It's bound to happen here at every single one of these races, and you got to have a clean car tonight if you're going to make it to the end of 60 laps.
That's right, 60 laps, 60% fuel. These guys, they have 4 sets of tires and 0 fast repairs.
Well, those fast repairs, they don't have them. They're going to really wish they did towards the end of this deal, that's for sure. Because every single one of these races ends up with that big wreck at the end of it. And it's one of our stories for tonight. New season, new faces. A lot of these guys, they might not have raced each other before in the past. And that's going to play a factor in tonight. You have to know who you're working with. You have to know who's drafting with you. And you have to know who they're around. Number 2, risk versus reward. How aggressive are you going to be in the draft? That is definitely going to play a factor tonight. We're going to see people that are going to be really aggressive at the start, and then we're going to see people who are waiting in the back, trying to take it easy, be aggressive to the end. Ain't that right, Josh?
Oh, absolutely. And, you mentioned that. Number 3, teamwork makes the dream work, Sean. You mentioned the draft, and teamwork is going to be so important here in the draft. You got to be careful, though, with that bump draft, which is number 4. You don't want to accidentally spin someone out because it could create the big one.
And most definitely, and that's our 5th one tonight, the big one. Trying to avoid it is going to be crucial to being up front at the end of this race with a clean truck. You got to first survive to finish. Well, I think with that, Josh, I think we're down to get down for our starting grid. These trucks are starting to grid up.
I do believe that is right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup for tonight. And on the pole, it looks like it's going to be Braxton Deweese with Justin Wilson starting in 2nd. Randy Bechtel in 3rd. Johnny Rapp starting in 4th tonight. Scott Tompkins in 5th. And Daryl Griffin Smash in 6th. 7th, Curtis Grant. Chris Trammell starts in 8th. 9th place, Austin Gum. And Johnny Brown starts in 10th, Sean.
Starting in 10th position is going to be, 11th, Matthew Tudus. Starting 12th is going to be Jay Zala. 13th, Scott Drost in that 2 truck. 14th is going to be Jesse Sampson. 15th, Daryl T. Vale. 16th, Jacob Phillips. 17th is going to be Donald Hawkins. 18th, Brady Schreckenghost. 19th is going to be Daniel R. Davis. And rounding out the field in 20th, Jeremy Kellner. $60 laps coming right up tonight. You guys get in the chat. We're going to be giving away a Daniel Suarez Tootsie car, as you can see on screen there tonight. One of our chatters in the box. So get in there, get talking, and we will be picking a winner later in the race.
Field is rolling down the back straightaway. 2x2. We're getting ready to go racing here very quickly.
Yeah, 60 laps is quite a long way at Daytona. We'll see if some of these guys are trying to take it easy here early or really go for it towards the end.
Yeah, I feel like 60 laps kind of the sweet spot, Sean. It's not too long of a race, but not too short of a race. I think you're right. You're going to have to, you know, I think you have to wait, be patient, wait for the move, and be there at the end.
Most definitely. 60 laps is quite a long way, and I think we're going to have some fuel mileage play a factor in this race with 60% fuel. Braxton DeWeese, Justin Wilson leading them down to the start of this race. Like, hand it to you, Josh. We've got the green flag coming out.
Pace car is into the safety of pit road. The green flag waves. We are underway here at Daytona. That bottom lane gets
Braxton
going.
DeWeese getting a good push right there. Oh, he's going to go down to the inside. Some sort of issue there with that 19 truck, I should say. It's not good for Braxton DeWeese, one of our favorites tonight, but that is going to allow Justin Wilson and Johnny Rapp to break away here up front. Here comes that 22 truck bearing down onto them from third position, getting it pushed from behind. This guy's going to get to the bottom, fall in line.
That bottom line, it is getting formed up. Where it's that top line, it's kind of going away. These guys, I think, trying to be patient, get into the single file line, and just kind of ride around for now.
Yeah, most definitely riding around is going to play a factor tonight, especially with only 20 trucks out there. Not that big of a field right now at the moment. So that's going to allow these guys to really take it easy, fall in line, and kind of work together and not have to feel all too much panic about getting through 40 trucks in front of you.
Drivers are just still trying to find a way to get down to the bottom. Only a few trucks left on the outside line, and they're really not nose to tail either. Right now, Wilson and Rapp, they're kind of sitting in the best position, riding up front. Maybe a little bit 3 wide in the back, but quickly figuring it out.
Quickly figuring out for sure. But these guys are going to have to figure it out here quickly because it's only 60 laps long. If we know it's a long way here at Daytona, but it's not the craziest distance. So it'll be over here quite shortly if this thing stays clean and green and everybody plays nice like they are right now. Staying in line, taking it easy.
We've also talked about, 60% fuel. Saving fuel, it's going to be important as these drivers continue to drive around. And I actually just mentioned Wilson and Rapp being in the best position up front. Well, for the track position, but for fuel saving, they're not in the best position at all. And so, that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on as these drivers continue driving around. They're burning up more fuel being up front than a guy like Randy Bechtel in 6th. He might be able to save a little bit more fuel than Johnny Rapp in 2nd.
Now, most definitely being in those first 2 spots really does burn a quite significant amount of more fuel than being in the back of the pack. It actually is quite noticeable here at Daytona and Talladega and other plate races. So it'll play a factor in when these guys are going to have to pit if we do get that far. Right now, they're kind of betting on maybe an incident or 2 bringing out a caution flag, making those pit stops much more simpler. Keeping in mind right there in the corner, we got the heart rate monitor here riding on board with Curtis Grant. You see Curtis right there in that 30 truck. He's on the outside line. You see that heart rate kind of creeping up there for the first time above 100. He got to the outside line, got around a couple trucks, and you see that heart rate monitor just creeping up just a little bit. And we'll be keeping an eye on that tonight. Gets into any incidents or possibly gets a good finish at the end. So just where that pegs out, it's always a pretty good number here at Daytona.
I think that is a pretty cool feature to be able to watch a heart rate. And you're right. I mean, here at Daytona, I'll be very curious to keep an eye on that as well.
Earlier in the year, we had a race here at Daytona, and one of the drivers that was wearing that had a pegged out about 145, so it was pretty high there towards the end of the last lap calamity, and I'm sure we'll be getting some tonight. Right now, at the moment, though, everybody seems to be taking it easy, playing nice with each other. That top line is starting to form, though, behind that 30 truck of Curtis Grant. And just like the guys on the inside line, the 30 and the truck behind him here, I believe that is the 10 that we're riding on board with, Jesse Sampson, they're going to be using fuel just like those guys leading the bottom, the top line down there. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of a disadvantage right now at the moment, especially with fuel being only at 60% to start with.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see that top line forming, but it doesn't look too aggressive right now. And this is what I call kind of normal plate racing, where you have drivers side by side. Actually, somebody loose in the back. What is that? Purple car. I believe that was the number 56, Justin, 58 rather. Nope, 58's leading. 56 of Phillips. Got loose, was able to get back on track. I'm not sure what happened to him there.
Teammates to the 58, so it's easy to mix those guys up. But Phillips is a pretty good race car driver. He's known to save him a couple times. I've seen him get pretty loose right there. And the best thing for him is he's got a little bit of a friend right there with Braxton DeWeese, not messing around, staying in the back. But they probably want to catch up just a little bit further up the road and get maybe hooked on towards the back of this pack a little better, because right now they are at danger of losing it.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall task for them to be able to catch up to that pack. They're really going to need to hope that main pack is saving, not using a lot of throttle. These guys are going to have to hammer down, but I'm not so sure they're going to be able to catch them.
Maybe not at this point. They're losing the time, losing that gap to them right now. Not a good sign if this thing stays green. They're going to be hoping for a caution. There's a couple more trucks actually way in the back that might be in danger of getting lapped here very shortly. So they're going to be hoping for a caution as well. But this field's starting to pack up just a little bit. We got a new leader on the top line there. I believe that's the 15 of Chris Trammell, working his way to the outside of the 22 and getting close to Johnny Rapp up front.
Yeah, I've been noticing he's been utilizing that side draft, and it's helping him a lot. That outside line not pushing too hard. That side draft is going to be helping Chris Trammell a whole lot, as you mentioned it, get close to Johnny Rapp and Justin Wilson.
He's getting close to that 22 card, like you mentioned there with that side draft. A couple times they've been actually door banged, it seemed like a little bit, going through the corners, not giving each other too much room right there. Side drafting's the thing you want to do here at Daytona, maybe a little bit more towards the end of the race, getting real close to that truck on the bottom side and really getting that launch off the corners. It seems like it works the best. But right now, these guys may be playing a little too close than what I'd like to see in that 22. Given getting out of the gas there, it's going to cause a little bit of a stack up throughout the pack. You see the top line, some of those guys get up closer to the wall, and a little bit of a stack up right there. But everybody lives for another day.
Yeah, they were almost 3 wide back there. This track not wide enough to comfortably go 3 wide. You could do it, but it can get very sketch. Still keeping things too wide for the most part for now. Still, I mean, we're on lap number 9, or we're on lap 10. 9 laps complete. Long way to go. 51 to be exact. No reason to push too hard right now.
No reason to push too hard or side draft here at this moment. Everybody's just kind of trying to make it to that first pit stop. And it's a little sketchy out there. It's a 125-degree track temp. At that point, tires might be playing a factor towards the end of it. These trucks are pretty planted, and tire strategy does not seem to be one to really focus too much on here at Daytona. But with that track temp, these trucks might be getting just a little bit loose. We saw it already with the 56 getting loose and losing their draft because of it. So a little bit, these trucks are moving around quite a bit.
Yeah, they are. And one thing I've noticed is the weather is static, so we're not going to see a change in those conditions. So this 125 track temp is going to stay. I've seen a lot of movement myself. It could get really sketch with that heated track and the tires as these runs continue.
Yeah, most definitely. That big run right now on the high line, talking about runs, kind of dissipated there halfway down the backstretch. That 88 is going to be going down to the bottom and gaining a couple spots right there with the 22 in front of them. The 51 of Randy Bechtel going to follow them through. Oh, close right there between Scotty Tompkins and the 30. Coming off of turn 4, and I think we're starting to see it just a little bit. These trucks moving around, coming off the corners.
Yeah, I'm watching the 10 of Samson and 2 Deuce and the 67. It's a lot of movement out of them just a moment ago.
It's easy to do at a track like this. There's a lot of air moving around, a lot of differences in runs. Truck's going to get loose a couple times for all these guys. Just depends on how they manage it.
These guys, once again, back to single file. Didn't take long, so now only just the 2 trucks out there on the outside. Samson and 2 Deuce out there. Let's see if they can find a hole to get into the bottom, or if they're content riding around them up top.
Well, they're trying to maybe make a little bit of a gain here on that bottom line, and it can happen as more trucks will eventually go to the top again, and as the field packs up and those checkups become super strong on the inside line, they're going to be able to gain spots. As you see a couple more trucks further up the road moving up to the top there. I believe that's the 51, and the 55 right there is Scotty Tompkins pushing him. That's going to help these 2 that were back there on the outside line. They're going to start making gains any second now.
Those rest of the drivers on the outside are going to get up to him. And I see some side drafting happen too, so it's happening. I'm very curious to see how quickly that outside line is going to get up to the front.
Well, as we say that, the 10-car Jesse Sampson bails on the top line, gets to the bottom. Sorry, yeah, that was Jesse Sampson getting to the bottom there in that blue truck. New trucks and new drivers for all of us up here, too. We might get some of these. Might take a little bit for us to get all the names and paint schemes down. That 10 truck there looking pretty good. That Cletus McFarland paint scheme. Didn't have much luck in that Daytona this year. I don't know if he'd be wanting to drive that truck. But, hey, he's made it farther than Cletus did.
This is very true. So far, so good for Jesse Sampson in that 10.
Still somewhat playing nice, though. These trucks are moving around quite a bit. That could be, like we said, because of the hot temps and the tires just getting hot and burning up just a little bit. They are moving around quite a bit. Handling is playing a part in this race today. But right now, that 58 and 52 up front, looking like they're handling pretty good. On the bottom, I haven't seen either of those trucks bobble at all. They've been nice and steady Eddie since the green flag dropped and we saw an issue for Braxton. So, but since then, these guys have looked pretty tight and pretty good up front compared to the rest of the field. It seems like they've got a little case of the swerves going on.
And you mentioned Braxton. Speaking of him, he's just up the road from these guys, leaders of Justin Wilson and Johnny Rapp. Everybody else. So Braxton's going to go a lap down here in a moment. And again, this track, it is narrow, 3 wide, can work, but it's pretty sketchy, especially when you have a lap truck going with no draft help at all. It could really, really get sketchy.
Braxton's doing the smart thing and getting to the top line. A lot of drivers will stick to the bottom, kind of cause an issue for the pack, hope for a yellow. Right now, Braxton's doing the right thing, getting to that very, very top. And even though they're too wide in front and behind them, this will still be somewhat tricky for the pack, but just the preferred place for him to go. There really isn't anything else he could do to try to get out of the way anymore, but it's still going to cause a little bit of an issue for some of these guys in the pack and how much they're moving around already.
This is what I'm kind of worried about, being 3 wide in the corner, but they're making it work.
Yeah, see, making work pretty good right there. Everybody was able to adjust, and Braxton's going to live for another day. What Braxton needs right now is that yellow to come out. He's going to be at a big disadvantage on the fuel, being out there all by himself until this point. And he's also going to be a lap down, as we noted, so he's going to want to get that lucky dog position and hope there is some sort of caution flag to come out. Just can't have it happen right there in front of him. He can't be involved in it, which is always a tricky thing to navigate here at Daytona.
And he's on the outside. Wrecks here, they tend to wash up the racetrack. So if if I'm Deweese, I'm wanting to get to the bottom as soon as possible and just kind of ride around here.
Well, my mantra for missing the wrecks here at Daytona is they go up on the straightaway and they always fall back down in the corner. So sometimes I like being in that top lane, especially the last one in that lane. I imagine if anybody gets in behind him, he's going to let them by. Braxton's one of those racers who he knows what he needs to do lap after lap, and he's not going to get too caught up in being a lap down and start racing these guys awfully hard. Wonder what happened to him, though. That was a little weird at the start. I imagine he's not one to pull over like that, go to the back for fun.
Yeah.
Hearing could have been a shifting problem. Yeah, that's not too good, but he's got the truck running right now. Maybe he just wants that caution to get a lap back, and hopefully he can get it a little better going up through the gears next time around and put himself in position to win this thing.
And that makes sense because it just seemed like he was so slow taking off that really didn't have anything for him. So shifting issue, that makes sense. I definitely could see that happening.
Especially how he pulled off, too. He pulled off like his chair was on fire. He needed to get out, so he really pulled off the track there at the start of the race. So I imagine it was something like that as well. Makes sense. But big wiggle right there at the 6-7 of Matthew Tudu's.
Still kind of wiggling a little bit there through the tri-oval. And I believe that's a 16 staying patient. Now actually going to find a hole on the bottom.
The 16 getting to the bottom underneath the 67. A little bit of a checkup there on the inside line. Started with the 88, had to get off the gas going off the turn 2. Got real loose on the inside line. We're starting to see it with some of these guys on the inside now, but these trucks are definitely moving around quite a bit. Lap 20 on the field, 40 laps to go. I can't imagine that pit stop's too far away with the 60% fuel.
Yeah, I can. Oh,
contact right
wow.
there. Saw it coming right there. We mentioned it last time around. Coming off of turn 2, they got tight. And there they were coming off of turn 4. Oh, contact with the 67 and the 88 sliding down pit road. It's going to give them a black flag. No caution yet at the moment, though. It's going to stay green. That's the 67 and the 88. They're going to have to come down and serve a black flag, even though they kept it going. Bad deal right there, sliding through the exit of pit road. 67 is going to spin, getting up the gas, and there's the caution. So we avoided the yellow to come out, and then ended up getting one put in our laps on the silver platter.
Yeah, I can't believe that wasn't a lot bigger than what it was. Very curious to watch the replay, though, and see exactly what happened.
I think it was just another case of trucks moving around. We saw trucks moving all around on the bottom. We saw it moving around at the top, and eventually they are going to collide. And especially through that tri-oval, we saw it right there between the two. And then it gets into the truck behind him, and it might have been too loose maybe trying to get to the bottom here. Yep, too loose in that 67, trying to get down to that bottom line, follow the Cletus truck through, that 10 truck. Trying to follow him to the bottom, just comes down on the 88 truck, maybe not knowing he was there still after seeing him really lose it off of turn 4. And they both paid the price for it, sliding down that exit of pit road. That's not going to help them even with the yellow, because they're going to have to make that penalty stop under green. So they're definitely going to lose touch with the pack and possibly even go a lap down.
Definitely not what they want at all.
Definitely not what they wanted, but it's also maybe the caution that a lot of other drivers wanted, namely Braxton Deweese. He's going to be the lucky dog, get around the field and get his lap back. And also for maybe some of these guys in the pack, including Justin Wilson and Johnny Rapp, they're going to be able to take all the fuel they need on the pit stop cycle and come out with the pack no matter what with the restart. So it kind of makes that pit strategy much, much simpler for these guys.
Oh, yeah. And, I think a lot of these drivers are going to be looking for tires, fuel. We typically don't think of Daytona, Talladega tracks where those tires are important, but you and I, we've alluded to it already. Track temp being really high, truck sliding around a lot. I think it's important that you take 4 here.
I think taking 4 is a smart move as well. Then maybe later in the race, if you're feeling pretty good, you can go with the tire strategy then. So I'd say a lot of trucks are going to take it, but some of these trucks that have been up front, like Johnny Rapp and Justin Wilson, they might not know how sketchy it was towards the back of the pack. They might not know some of those guys were struggling pretty bad. And at a situation like that, I guess the ignorance is bliss, because if they were feeling good, they can do what they want. But it looks like 4 tires is the call for Johnny Rapp.
Yeah, that's a smart move here, and that's what I'm seeing with a lot of drivers. Trammell, very quick stop, 12 seconds in his box to be exact. 2 tires maybe for Trammell?
Yeah, that might be the little bit of strategy. He's going to benefit from that, go from 3rd or 4th up into the lead. He's going to be the leader on the restart. Johnny Rapp in 2nd. 58 probably had the slow stop up there in the front pack. He's going to go from the lead back to 3rd. And then it's going to be Shrek and Ghost in that 16th truck coming off pit road in 4th. So what do you think, Josh? You think maybe it's time to get one of our trivia questions in? Good answer, right answer, I should say, in the chat always helps you with those giveaways.
Yeah, what do we got for the trivia question?
Well, let's see if you can get it right. Which billionaire moved to the Daytona area because he believed the local climate would help him live to the age 100? Was it Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, or Henry Ford? So give everybody in the chat a chance to put their answers in. Like I said, a right answer always helps you in that giveaway. And a couple towards the end of this next pace lap, we'll see if Josh has got an answer for us, maybe.
See, I might want to move down to Daytona. It's going to help me live to 100.
Well, you know, Ponce de Leon spent many time looking for the fountain of youth here in Daytona. And the whole state of Florida, really. He died, so I don't think he found it.
Something pretty interesting here. Johnny Rapp and Justin Wilson coming back down pit road, topping off on fuel, I imagine. I don't know. I still think these drivers are going to have to make one more stop with the 60% fuel.
They might, but there might be a method to their madness. They know something we don't, and they're going to come down and take and top off on fuel, especially with the field being so small as it is. It's going to be one of those situations where they can easily make their way through the pack. The only thing they got to maybe look out for, I can see brewing in front of them, is there's going to be some trucks coming down to make a penalty stop here, the 67 and the 88 trucks involved in that last caution. They're going to have to come down and make a penalty stop on pit road. It should be a hold of about 15 seconds if I remember correctly. So not a good way to start this race off again. They're going to be wanting a yellow or 2 to both get their laps back. But that might be a little bit of a battle to watch and see where those two end up in relative to these leaders.
Field is back 2x2. They're going down the back straightaway. We're going to see the green flag come back out very quickly with Trammell and Grant leading the field to the green. It's going to be 36 laps to go when we do get to the line.
That might be within that pit window, that is for sure. So what's up, Josh? You think you got an answer for our trivia question? What's your guess? I got a couple John D. Rockefeller. I got a couple B's in there. I got a couple A's. I got Carnegie. I got one for just about all those answers. So what's your guess?
Is it Carnegie?
Well, you happen to be wrong. It's actually John D. Rockefeller, the answer. Actually had a pretty big mansion here in the Daytona area. It's a little bit of a park and a museum you can go and check out if you are in town for the races, as we are coming into the restart zone here. Chris Trammell and Curtis Grant leading the field. A little bit of a stack up there. Johnny Rapp getting into the back of that 67. It's going to cause a little bit of a mess towards the back of the pack, put some trucks in danger of losing the pack there. It was almost a wreck. I'm not sure if that 67 got up to speed as Johnny Rapp probably anticipated. So they're going to have to get in line and get going if they want any chance of sticking with that pack. As right now, coming off of turn 4, still turn 2, still Chris Trammell and Curtis Grant up front side by side. Looking like a drag race.
Big push on the outside, though. From Sampson to Grant. Outside line had a lot of momentum, but Trammell able to get it back in the corner.
See
So
that
much
67.
movement.
Yeah, a lot of movement right there, and you see that 67 peeling off to make that stop. That is going to put them behind the 8 ball right now. Him and the 88 both coming down pit road. Let's go back up front, still side by side. That 15 truck looking pretty strong on the bottom. Doesn't have the help behind him like the 30 truck does, but he's able to stick with him here at the moment. Curtis, I imagine, is going to get a big push down this straightaway here. Coming from behind in the 10 truck of Jesse Sampson. And we got some new leaders up front.
Sampson actually pulls down to the bottom. Try to get the race lead. Trammell now coming up to Sampson to give him a push.
Sampson started towards the back of this pack. He is up 13 spots so far, making his presence known up front. And same with that 30 truck. It's another truck we have not seen up front yet today. A little bit of a checkup there on the inside line, a truck into the wall. Lots of movement yet again. That is going to be Scott Drost taking a little bit of that wall down. Someone else hits it down in turns 1 and 2. That's been almost a consistent problem tonight. There's been a lot of movement in both of these lines. Guys are pretty swirly.
Yeah, it looks very sketch right now for these drivers. Trying to hang on to it. Wow, what a push from that bottom. Trammell getting into Sampson, who's already in Grant. So one thing is you got to be careful pushing the pusher.
Most definitely super easy. Yeah, they are holding on. Super easy to push the pusher the wrong way and cause an incident, as we see another contact right there between the 15 and the 10 truck. That's going to give these guys momentum on the outside. Uh-oh, 2 more trucks going down pit road right there. It's going to be the 2 of Scott Drost and Curtis Grant. Another truck that we saw up front looked like a carbon copy of what brought the yellow out before. We're just not going to get a yellow this time around, but we are going to get 2 more trucks that got to come down pit road and take that same penalty.
Curtis Grant, he was able to keep it straight, but then got sideways on the apron, went into the grass, back out on track. A ton of momentum lost for Curtis Grant.
Definitely a little bit of a race killer for all these guys. Now we're going to have 4 guys out there a lap down battling for what may be just 1 or 2 lucky dogs.
Scott Drost coming into the pits, guessing from pit road penalty on that spin.
Oh yeah, him and I believe it was the 30 truck right there. Both got black flags in that deal, and that really broke up this pack. We are single file, but they are stretched out 3 to 4 seconds from front to the back. But look at this up front. It is the 58 and 52 teamed up yet again. Our leaders from the first run of the race have managed to work themselves right back up to the front. I think they might be looking like the 2 strongest trucks of the night. It's pretty hard to have a significantly faster machine here at Daytona or Talladega, but they look like they've done it, because right now they have just pulled away from the rest of the field.
We talked about it in pre-race. Teamwork makes the dream work, and so far they're doing a great job. 29 down, 31 to go here in this race. But I'm willing to bet that one of those 2 drivers could have a great chance at this if it continues to go their way.
Yeah, most definitely. These 2 have cooked up, and they've got a plan, and they are sticking to it. And guess what? It's working. It's pretty nice when the plan works out, as this field is single file all the way through it. Lots of big checkups right now because they're not really pushing too hard up towards the front, burning down those lap times, but everybody playing nice at the moment. That tells me that fuel might be pretty tight, and it is a little bit of a fuel mileage game. And if Johnny Rapp and Justin Wilson were planning on trying to get to the end on that fuel mileage, as there's more contact there in the tri-oval, they're planning on going to the end on that fuel mileage and doing it up front. Kind of makes more sense why they came in and topped off on 1 to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't think that it's enough, but also I feel like they know what they're doing. So maybe it's enough. We'll see as this race continues out. I think we have a truck stopped on the back straightaway. We do. It's Darren Vale. He's off track onto the bus stop chicane area of the road course. I have no idea what happened to him, however.
Yeah, he's sitting down there off on the inside. No caution at the moment. It's going to put him behind the 8 ball as well. And if he does end up get going, he might just be that 5th truck a lap down battling for the lucky dog. And the one truck that's happy about that is Braxton DeWeese. He was able to get his lucky dog last time around. He is back on the lead lap. Still kind of towards the back of the pack here at the moment. These guys are racing side by side in a second pack, trying to get to the front. But he is still on the lead lap, and he's still in the game. That's all that matters. Reminder for everybody in the chat, we're going to be giving away that Daniel Suarez card. Pop it back up there for 1 second. See it right there. So anybody in the chat, lots of people in there tonight. Keep it up and put yourself in a position to win that diecast.
One thing that really surprises me right now is the top 5 kind of having a breakaway. And I know that's kind of the way it's been, but I would think that with the draft that we have, these guys would be able to catch back up to the top 5. But they're running side by side. You have 8 trucks, 6 through, looks like 13th or so, side by side. And that's not going to help with their drafting back up to that first pack at all.
Yeah, most definitely, and they're kind of fooling around a little bit. They're not too tight on the inside line. That top line's pretty close to them. That top line's kind of desperate trying to get around these guys. Might not be too fast on the inside, might not be pushing the way they need to. So they're trying to kind of force the issue here, get to the front themselves, thinking that maybe they can do a better job at catching that front pack. But that's exactly what Johnny Rapp and Justin Wilson want to see, as this front pack has definitely got themselves a nice little cushion to them. But it's not going to take much for these guys to catch them back up.
It won't take much, but I think they need to get a little bit more organized. And instead, I see some side drafting going on between Trammell and I believe that was Phillips. Just not going to help their case at all.
Most definitely, but now that the 58 has cleared the 8 on the inside line, it seems to be blinking a little bit, and that's going to allow the 51 and Braxton DeWeese to get going. Imagine he's going to drag that brake just a little bit, let these guys in line, and they'll be back to chopping down on those leaders up front. Last time around, though, they were 3/10 slower with all these games that they're playing right now, but now that they've gotten into the line, I imagine they're going to be making some gains here pretty shortly, because those are some good drivers leading that pack right now.
Still 26 laps to go. Well, there's time. There is definitely time for them to catch up to Wilson, Rapp, Shrek and Ghost. You know, those drivers up front. It's just a matter of how hard are they going to push.
And they're pushing pretty good right now at the moment. Now that they have gotten into line, got the position that they need on the inside line, they have really closed in on those leaders. It just shows the strength in those trucks relative to the ones that were leading the pack before. These guys got out in front, and next thing you know, they're right back to the top 5 on the racetrack. I imagine they might even take their big run on this front pack right here, bounce up to the top, make their way and challenge Johnny Rapp and Justin Wilson up front. It's not over.
No, it's not over. They have the draft.
Contact in the back. It's going to be the 14 of Donald Hawkins and the 15 of Chris Trammell sliding down onto the chicane there. No caution at the moment. These guys are pretty far down off the racetrack. And there goes the 14 spinning, trying to get up to speed. He's still pretty far down there. Not going to bring out a yellow. That's another 2 trucks falling away by the wayside. That was just contact off of turn 2. They're both going to get going. And we're still clean and green.
Meanwhile, up front, Randy Bechtel and the rest of that pack has caught up to the top 5 and staying in line, not trying to make any moves happen right now.
No, yeah, they didn't bounce up to the top and take what big run they might have had. It's still early on in this race, and fuel might still be an issue to get to the end. So I can understand maybe why they used up a little extra and caught the pack and maybe want to save some of that back. I think that might be part of the strategy right here.
Pretty much still all single file. We're looking at 23 laps to go, and 14 drivers still on the lead lap with a shot to win this.
Yeah, 14 drivers from the 20 that started. It's been a little bit of a attrition-filled race so far. Lots of self-spins and tiny little incidents that took out 2 trucks at a time. Really put a lot of guys behind the 8 ball. Braxton DeWeese is the only one really to kind of rebound from any of them. And so these guys are going to be looking for some yellows, but right now it doesn't appear that we are getting them as the 10 car gets shot out of line. As one of the cars, I think he was 4th in line behind the 16. He's going to get bounced out of line and fall back to the back now, lose all his track position. But it's now one big line out front as that second pack has been absorbed into the first one.
When do you make your move? I mean, I think that's the biggest question. You know, trying to find somebody to work with and staying patient till the right time to make a move, then make it. Sampson still cannot get down to the bottom line, however.
It depends on that fuel number. You know, once you make that number and you feel like you're comfortable enough to get out front and lead, you can bounce up to the top and make your move, you know, 7, 8 laps to go. But at this point, there's still a long way. I think that was 22 to go right there at the line. So it's still a long way here at Daytona. I imagine these guys still have fuel on their mind, especially those that didn't come in and top off. Be interesting to see, though, what's the number on that 52 and 58.
They've been controlling it. And I'm still not sold that they have enough. I'm really not. We're coming around to 20 to go at the line. What a race, though. This has been incredible.
It's been a pretty dominant run so far for the 58 and 52. We mentioned it when they first got out in front this second run here. These guys have led most of the way and have really taken control of this race since the green flag. Now that Braxton's back up into the 6th position, he's going to be putting some pressure on these guys up pretty shortly, I imagine. He was your pole sitter tonight. But these guys have really put on a clinic so far.
Yeah, they have. They've been an incredible duo, Wilson and Rapp. Staying up front, getting back to the front after the restart. But yeah, I think DeWeese is in a great position as well, getting back to 6th place. Needs to find some help, though, and see if he can get his truck back up to the front. 19 more here at Daytona.
Still plenty of time here. He can make the move on the last lap if he's got to from this point. So I think Braxton's just being patient here. He's got a good truck behind him in the 56 of I believe that's Jacob Phillips, and then Scotty Tompkins behind them. So he's got 2 good trucks behind him that he knows he can work with, especially with Randy Bechtel up front. We've heard good things about him. First time we've seen him race, doing a great job in that 51 truck.
He's been holding his own pretty well there, has Bechtel. And wondering if he can make something happen as well.
Oh, big loose right there out of the 10 truck of Jacob Sampson. You saw it there in the background. He was stepping out, and he was still in the corner. A big save out of him. I don't think he's in too much danger of losing the pack, but he's got to get going here, not put himself in position where he loses it. But pretty good save there out of that 10 truck. Almost took out that truck that was below him, but man, held on to it.
Yeah, that's Good news for Sampson, he doesn't have a wrecked race truck, but he's now fallen back. Does not have any draft help. It's gonna be he's gonna need something, some kind of help here.
Yeah, got out of the gas big time there to take control of the truck. It's going to live for another lap, but he's going to be needing a caution like many other drivers out there. But right now, it doesn't seem to be brewing all too hard at the moment. Your top five all playing nice. Still Justin Wilson and Johnny Rapp up front. Got Brady in the 16 running in third. And Austin Gunn and Randy Bechtel rounding out the top five, all playing nice at the moment. But as we know, Josh, that's Daytona. That can flip at any moment, at any second.
It really can, and I'm kind of waiting for it to happen too, where these drivers decide now is the time to go. But these drivers, they're still being patient. Kind of reminds me of a race from the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. You know, we see those guys stay in single file for so long, and it just seems like, you know, who's going to make a move? But it really doesn't come down to it until the last couple of laps. And
so that 10 car came down and hit the pit road right there. I think that might be a little bit of a tell, and you might have been right, Joshua, where there is still a issue with fuel with these guys making it all the way. And with 16 laps to go, there might be a possibility you're going to have to come in and make a pit stop. As you saw the 10 truck there, Jacob, he was having some handling issues, as you saw, but he had lost the pack. Was falling back off about 2.5, 3 seconds, so he came down and took his pit stop. So not much of a reason he would have done that unless he had to pit.
yeah, I agree. Still not, you know, what he wanted to have happened. And this could really hurt him now, as he's most definitely going to go a lap down, is Sampson. But I don't know. These drivers, they're going to have to come very soon, I feel like.
Well, Sampson's going to go a lap down here very shortly. He just came off of pit road. He's about 1.5 seconds in front of the leaders. Going to be popping into the screen here any moment. Coming down the backstretch, you got Justin Wilson and Johnny Rapp coming up close behind him. If these guys are in a little bit of a fuel mileage shortage of a event, that's really going to play into the hand of the 10 truck. He's going to be able to get some good laps here in the draft and kind of keep himself from losing more time to the pack than he would have.
Looking at 14 more laps here, and still single file. Nobody wanting to make a move right now.
And pretty impressive. They are showing a lot of restraint, playing it smart. Sometimes it's a hard thing to ask for in these iRaces here at Daytona and Talladega. People start to get a little crazy as they start seeing those numbers dwindle down to 15, 14 laps to go. But right now, these guys are showing they're being pretty calm, and that might just be another tell that there might be another pit stop coming.
Yeah, and, you know, again, I really think that they do have to pit. But if not, if they are good to make to the end, they are running single file. You know, you mentioned drivers getting antsy, seeing those laps pass by. You know, if I'm sitting maybe around Gum or Bechtel's position, maybe a little bit further back, I'm wanting to make a move forward. The problem is, how am I going to do that? I need help, and you're not really going to find the help. Drivers behind you are going to want you to pull out of line, because that's just another position for them. So, you know, I think a lot of drivers are getting antsy, but again, going back to pre-race, we talked, teamwork makes the dream work. You need help. You need friends.
Yeah, sometimes here at Daytona and Talladega, you have to work with people that aren't your friends sometimes. You just got to work with the truck that's in front of you, whether you like it or not. You have to make friends as the race goes on. Right now, two friends been leading the front so far. Is that 58 and 52? They've been pretty friendly with each other. Have led just about every lap of this race. Probably didn't lead about 4 or 5 after we went back green from the first pit stop. But another reason why these guys might be trying to stay in line is if that pit stop is looming in the next 3 or 4 laps, they're going to want to be on the bottom. They're not going to be willingly putting their truck off the bottom, getting to the top, and end up side by side with somebody if they need to come down and make a pit stop.
And if that pit stop does happen, what do you do? And I feel like if we do not see a caution, it is a splash and go. And that's it. Don't worry about tires. Get out there as soon as possible. The apron is going to be sketchy. You got to be careful with that. But I don't know. I just don't think you can take the chance of taking tires.
Most definitely not the chance of taking tires, especially if it is a green flag pit stop. But for these guys' position, they don't want to be the only person to do it, though. So they want to make sure that they have 2 or 3 other trucks on the same strategy as they are. I imagine the 58 and 52 are in close communication, so they're not too worried about each other. But you don't want to be the only guy on a certain strategy and take fuel only and come out 3-4 seconds ahead of the pack. Be by yourself.
Now, already a lap truck, but I'm wondering if Curtis Grant might have ran out of fuel. He's now 3 laps down and just coasting on the apron. I kind of noticed they were catching him a little bit too quick for him to be
Got
running
black
at
flag
full
at the
power.
moment. Yeah, he has a black flag at the moment. It's been a rough race for that 30 truck. He got that black flag earlier, had to serve it under green, went a couple laps down, got a couple more in the process, and now he's got some, looks like he's got some heavy damage there, bringing it down pit road. There is only one truck a lap down. Jesse Sampson made that pit stop not too long ago on the tail end of this pack, so if there is a yellow, he will be the lucky dog. And everybody else is 2 laps down or more, kind of out of contention.
So the field has taken 10 to go. They're actually going to get 9 to go this time by at the line.
Truck's coming down. There we go.
Oh, Gunna's going to hit the wall hard.
That's going to give damage to both of those trucks. You see the 6 truck is smoking, front end damage on the front of Braxton DeWeese. Not something that we see often out of him. Not much he could have done differently there, though. He came down pit road following the truck in front of him and then locked up the rears on that 6 truck. Bounced off that inside wall, and that's going to kill their pit stops and just about kill their races.
Jeremy Keltner also came down pit road and was able to avoid what had happened in front of him. Going back to watching the leaders as they're coming around turns 3 and 4.
It's going to be a black flag for the 8 right there. And here comes the rest of the pack. And these guys have the advantage. After that first pack mucked up their pit stops, they're going to be able to just focus on getting clean ones themselves. That 58, sliding it on in there. Seems like he made the speed limit, though. Does not get a black flag. And how clean are these pit stops going to be is going to decide which pack prevails. But that first pack, with it only being about 4 or 5 cars and half of them wrecking, that's going to really put these guys in a good position.
And fuel only for all of these guys as they are almost 4 wide coming off the pit road.
You saw the speed out of that 16. Oh, it looked like he was flying right there. That's going to give contact on the racetrack. There's the 16 hitting the outside wall. That's going to be a black flag for him, most definitely, for the unsafe pit entry. Not what you want to see. It's a very, very odd place for contact, right, Josh?
That is a very odd place for contact, and also I think Shrek and Ghost just, those old tires bit him there on that apron. That is not at all what he wanted.
Well, just like before, leading this pack of cars that came down and pitted, it's going to be the 58 and 52 of Johnny Rapp and Justin Tompkins. Johnny Rapp and Justin Wilson. They're going to be the leaders of this pack. Behind them is Scotty Tompkins and Randy Bechtel. And then up top there are some, those are just some lap trucks there, a couple laps down. Haven't made their pit stops yet. A couple other trucks have also not made pit stops, but they are going to have to do that very shortly. It's the 22 and I believe that is the 50 of Daniel Davis. So they still have to make their pit stops, and so for all intents and purposes, this is the race for the lead. 6.5 laps to go.
And it's getting chaotic. Still calm, but chaotic. No longer running single file. However, That is a lap truck there, that 88. Johnny Bobby Brown going to get into the line now, and so does everybody else.
It's still only about 5 trucks in this front pack, though, on the lead lap. But in position to win this race. The 8 truck is running in 6th in this pack. He's a little further back, about 8 seconds down the road. A little bit of a different pit strategy there. He's there with the 15. Those trucks came down and pitted the first time around with Braxton in the 6, and they got into each other. So they're just going to be hoping and praying for maybe a yellow to catch them back up. But right now, it's going to be a 5-race truck for the win.
And they are coming off of turn number 4. Going to get 5 laps to go.
What do you think, Josh? 5 to go. Think it's time to do that giveaway?
Yeah.
So looking through the deal tonight, we're going to be giving the giveaway to N. Canick, 1984. You are the winner of the Daniel Suarez diecast. So if you just send them an email there with the email on the screen, you can claim your prize. We'll keep it up there for a couple laps so you can copy it down and get that email sent. You are the winner tonight. Congratulations. Braxton DeWeese coming out in front of these guys with his damage. He is a lap down and out of contention. See Justin moving up just a little bit to get a little bit of a draft. Johnny Rapp still behind him, though. These 2 trucks have been glued together this whole race so far, Josh. They have really been impressive since the start of the green flag.
Yeah, they really have. And I'm wondering, if you're Rapp, are you going to try to go for it, or do you just help push Wilson to a win here? Maybe stop somebody else from getting the win.
It kind of depends on how they're sitting off of turn 4, I think. If they are all single file just like this, maybe Johnny will get a little bit of a run and bounce to the top and hope the 55 goes with him. But I imagine he will make a move. I don't think Johnny's won a race in quite a bit. As you see the move made right there, made a couple moves right there. Johnny Rapp must be hearing us talk about him too. The top side, 3 to go. He's going to get himself around the 58 with help from Scotty Tompkins. Scotty went with him, and they are going to clear the 58 and bring the 88, who's a lap down, with them. And there's a lap truck just in front of these guys as well to make it even more interesting. It's a 67 of Toulouse. Johnny Rapp, as we were talking about it, Josh, has made a move to the top, made a move to the bottom, and then back to the top, and he's got the help, and he's got the lead down the backstretch.
That was absolutely incredible, and, if he was going to make a move, I would not have expected it to happen when he did contact!
Oh, no, contact right there between the 2 lap cars in the pack, the 88 and the 67. That's the second time these 2 have wrecked. They were the caution earlier, if you remember that, Josh. Same 2 trucks, but they're going to get into each other, but no caution. We're going to go to the line, 2 laps to go. We only got to make it one more time around without the yellow. Big run coming for Scotty Tompkins from Justin Wilson. He's going to go with Scotty and not Johnny. Give the 55 a push. You would have thought maybe Justin went back with the 52, but he might not be too happy with Johnny Rapp making that move.
He's going to make his own move.
Make his own move back to the bottom, get in front of that 52 and take that push yet again, and then we're right back to where we were possibly. But they're coming back around to the white flag, and here comes that 51 of Randy Bechtel into the picture. Some side drafting there, and that's going to allow the 52 to close right back up on his bumper. I think we're going to have a white flag waving here, Josh.
Yeah, the white flag. It's in the air. Let's see if they can get back to it. I believe they are. White flag waving. Last lap here at Daytona. It is a drag race. That outside line, though, a little bit more momentum as it was a big bobble on the bottom from Wilson.
Looks like he might have tapped that apron just a little bit, but that's going to give them the run coming through turns 1 and 2. Side by side, the front 2 cars. Which line does maybe Jacob Phillips go with to give them the push? He's going to go with the top, give the 51 a big shove down the straightaway. They are going to clear Justin Wilson, and now it's a battle between Randy Bechtel and Scotty Tompkins up front. Randy's going to make the move to the inside. He's got help coming behind him from Jacob. Who does Jacob go with? He's going to go with the 51, a lap truck in front of him. Here comes Jacob to the inside. And coming to the line, we are side by side, door to door. It's going to be Bechtel by just a couple inches there. What a race, Josh.
9/1000ths of a second. Randy Bechtel wins the race over Scotty Tompkins. That was incredible.
Well, we talked about him with about 10 laps to go. Said Randy was doing a good job biding his time, keeping the truck clean. Johnny Rapp before the race even said he's a sneaky good driver, one to watch. And there he is, taking home the checkered flag. And man, you got to feel for both the 52 and the 58 led just about 90% of that race, if not more. Ended up getting passed on the last lap by that top line that were more grouped up than they were.
That was incredible. A lot of runs from a lot of drivers. And I can't believe they kept it green there. Great job by everybody in the top five, keeping it clean and still taking every single run they got. And for Randy Bechtel on becoming the winner of this race.
A great job by Randy sticking through with the pack through all those tiny little incidents, through all the checkups, through the green flag pit stop, and found himself in that pack of five at the end. And got the job done on the last lap, gave the 55 a huge push down the straightaway, cleared that inside line with the leaders Johnny Rapp and Justin Wilson, and got the job done in 3 and 4. The move to the inside, was able to block Jacob Phillips coming to the line, and that's all it took.
Saw Randy Bechtel doing his victory donuts, and I'm willing to bet that the best tasting donuts are in Daytona right now for Randy Bechtel.
Well, there's a
Great.
Krispy Kreme right across the street from the track, so they're pretty good. Got to get some of those, get double the donuts today. I guess we're going to get to our finishing order tonight. Randy Bechtel and the 51 is going to be your big winner. Second place, Scotty Tompkins in his 55 truck. Jacob Phillips third. Justin Wilson fourth. Johnny Rapp fifth. Your final five trucks in that pack at the end. Jeremy Kelter, the great finish in sixth. Jesse Sampson bounces back from that early pit stop. It's going to come across the line in seventh. Jay Zala in eighth. Brady Schreckenghost in ninth. And Daniel Davis comes home in 10th. Got Smash in the 22 truck, going to finish 11th. Braxton DeWeese 12th. Chris Trammell 13th. Donald Hawkins 14th. Scott Drost 15th. Johnny Bobby Brown 16th. Matthew Tudu 17th. Austin Gumb 18th. Curtis Grant 19th. And Daryl T. Vale in 20th. Well, Josh, that was one heck of a race. We're going to step away, get a quick ad break in, and we'll be back with our interviews. Well, welcome back to Daytona. Going to be with your third place finisher tonight, Jacob Phillips. Jacob Phillips, third place tonight. You got a copy?
What's going on, gentlemen?
A great run tonight out of that 56 truck. Run us through your race from the start. Looked like you were one of those trucks that was in it from the get-go.
Yeah, I shot myself in the foot in qualifying there. I notoriously struggle with qualifying on super speedways. Started back there at the back of the pack. And just had a fight to work my way up through the field. Got to shout out my daughter. She decided about midway through the race, she decided she wanted to help me shift the car, and she downshifted to third, so I fell out of the pack from about mid-pack, so that got a little bit hairy. But then just went with what I felt would be a decent strategy and run with Randy and Johnny and Justin and Scott and all those guys. We all come down pit at the same time, and then it was just a matter of not wrecking it coming off pit road and battle to the end from there.
Well, I'd say so with the third place finish tonight. New season, start of the year. You get a third place to start off the year right with some positive momentum. Do you think you can carry that forward and potentially put yourself in the chance for a championship, maybe?
Man, I sure hope so. I'm coming off a pretty rough season, running over in Slingshot. I did not have a great season over there. Just could not string finishes together, even good finishes together. So hopefully I can rebound off that and get a good start to the season here and kind of get the ball rolling going forward for other seasons coming up in the future as well.
Well, I'd say you're off to a great start tonight with that third place finish. Any love or shout outs you'd like to give, celebrate?
Yeah, I want to shout out these guys. From my understanding, this is a brand new league. Um, awesome opportunity for them, what they're doing, giving everybody a chance to come, run, have fun, and enjoy being able to be on TV and enjoy be broadcasted. I want to shout out, of course, as always, Slingshot TV, Slingshot Racing Media. I've been fortunate enough to carry you guys on my cars for about a year now, um, and I appreciate everything that y'all do. Y'all put on excellent broadcast. So thank y'all to y'all. And I also want to shout out the Autism Awareness Foundation, the Fatherhood Foundation worldwide, and Phillips Wraps and Graphics, Payday Racing, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Congratulations, Phillips. Jacob, we look forward to seeing you next week. See if you can keep up that positive momentum. We're going to send it back over to Josh. He's going to be with your second place finisher tonight, Scotty Tompkins.
How's it going?
Uh, Going pretty good. How about yourself?
It's going. It's going.
That finish there, it got pretty wild with drivers just swapping positions in the top five at the end. You were right there at the end, got second place, but what more did you need to try to get the win?
Maybe door slamming Randy a little bit. Could have been the only thing I could have done. Kind of like Justin and I did coming out of 3 or whatever it was. But no, it was a good night of running. The payday guys finished in the top 5 there, all 5 of us. So I mean, it was a good night, good racing.
Now, kind of mentioned about teammates working together and maybe staying in line. Uh, when you were there, were you anticipating all those moves happening at the end between you guys?
No, it was just kind of more of who was it? Johnny just jumped out on Justin, and I was like, "Oh, we're going." So I just followed Johnny through there, and then made the move on Johnny, and then Justin came back, and then Randy got the run, and I was hoping to get the run off the truck in front of me. That was almost a lapper that could have propelled me to the win, but it was fun racing either way. But some of it was close for comfort near the end when you have a 17-second lead over sixth.
New league tonight. Not a lot of drivers that are familiar with each other. Only one caution throughout this entire event. Uh, were you thinking tonight was going to be a lot more chaotic than what it actually ended up being?
Yes and no. Just by looking at the I ratings, it was such a disparity, and I know this is a plate track, and the draft keeps everyone together. Who can handle what? Who can't handle what push? And who can hold a line? Who can't? So I was expecting a little bit more chaos, but considering I knew about half the field because I've raced with a lot of them before, one caution's about on par.
All right, sponsor shout outs. Who gets it done for you?
So Evan Pianta Designs. Evan great painter. He painted this truck, and I think he painted Jacob's truck as two of them. So it's a real beautiful truck. He pretty much does all my trucks. Also, we have Firebird Sign Company on the side of the truck. My friend Lee Dawson owns the sign company down in North Carolina, so if you need signs for your buildings, shout out to Lee Dawson. Beyond that, Smash guys, I appreciate them for putting on such a great league, and I know it's race one, but I've had a lot of fun, and I wish we have this kind of racing the rest of the year.
All right. Congrats on the great run tonight, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good one.
And that was our second place runner, Scott Tompkins. Sean, I believe you have our race winner, Randy Bechtel.
Randy Bechtel, welcome to Daytona Victory Lane, getting it done tonight. Run us through what seemed to be a very interesting race from your end.
Well, my main goal was just stay out of trouble, and the first start there, I don't know what happened to Braxton. It seemed like he misshift, and something happened with his wheel, maybe. So that I expected to be further up there to start, but had to be like, I don't know, kind of front and mid there. Just sit there, save some fuel. And we had a few little pit strategies we thought about, and I guess we picked the right one. It was I don't know if they came through on the broadcast or not, but it was very, very sketchy coming off pit road on the green flag stops there at the 10 to go or whatever it was. Then coming to 2 to go, try to get a run and got Scott clear on the outside and I thought I made my move too early there in 3 because he did get a little run, but we barely nicked him out. But hey, overall it was a fun race. Can't ask for a better start to the season.
Yeah, I'd say you can't ask for a better start to season. It was a great race up here to watch as well, and it felt like the weather played a big role in tonight's racing because it felt like there was a lot of moving around in both the lines and tires, like you said, coming off pit road pretty swirly. Was that something you were battling throughout the race tonight?
Oh yeah, it seemed extra. The truck moved a lot more than the usual. I mean, it's been a while since I've ran the truck, so it might have changed a little bit, but it was definitely a handful at certain points of the race, especially if somebody was pushing you when you're trying to go on the outside. And I don't know if the wind was a big factor or not. I wasn't sure like which way it was blowing, but it definitely felt like it.
It definitely looked like it from up here. Well, congratulations on your first place finish tonight. Some good momentum to start the season. Is this something you think you can carry forward and potentially put yourself in a spot to win a championship?
I hope so. I mean, I'm pretty good at coming tracks in this schedule, but there's definitely some quick guys in the league. I know I got to look out for. So hopefully stay towards the front for most of the races and then stay out of trouble.
Well, congratulations. Any love or shout outs to give for your first place finish tonight?
I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. Probably going to be fun to go back and watch it. The league admin, I don't know much about him, but thanks for him for starting the league and putting it on. Guys I worked with, thank them, especially Jacob there on coming off turn 4, giving me that little push to stay in front of Scott. Other than that, nobody else.
Well, congratulations. That is your winner. Randy Bechtel in that 51 truck tonight. Got it done on that final lap, just barely edging out Scotty Tompkins. Josh, I'd say that was one hell of a way to start a season.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great race. A lot calmer than I kind of expected a Daytona race to go, especially to start out a season. But overall, I mean, a great job by these drivers. And congrats to Randy Bechtel. He did a great job putting himself in position when it mattered the most.
I'd say so, and he was definitely the big winner tonight. And what was seemed to be a race of attrition. The weather played a factor. We had some big pit strategy at the end. And the 5 cars that survived the pit stop and coming off a pit road in one group, they were the ones to race it out. Turns out they were just the right team that made the right call.
Yeah, and I mentioned about how I think fuel only is going to be the way to go. They did. It might have been a little bit sketchy for those drivers, but still a great call overall to get themselves up front and to be able to battle it out the way they did. Great job overall by all of them.
Great job indeed. We'll have to catch everybody next week. Same time, same place. we're going to be bringing out race 2 of the season. Going to be a good one then. Catch you guys next time. It's going to be this is going to be it for the Slingshot Racing booth tonight here at Daytona.
Change